Good morning from Camelot. This is King Arthur, and I just wanted to take a minute this morning and talk to you all about blanketing. And good morning, Hanson. The first thing I want to talk to you about is how to properly take off a blanket. Never pull it over their head. Yeah, maybe you think that's easier, but it's causing all kinds of problems you don't even realize. Or maybe you do and you just think that's the way. Or maybe you already know what I know and you could just skip this video. Although I have more to say than just about how to take it on and off, so maybe hang in there. So this particular style of sheet, I do not need for most of the horses. I do have them on one. I don't need leg straps. I'll avoid leg straps if the horse can wear it without needing them because they're just an extra hassle mostly. But if it had leg straps, the first thing that I would do to take it off is I would undo both the leg straps. The next thing I would do is what I'm doing now, which is undoing the belly straps. Then I would unbuckle or undo the front. And then what is kindest to the horse, and actually the most efficient in the long run, is to pull it up here, hold it over itself, and then without being too rushy about it, just slide it off. So even this horse is super sensitive, and even he was like, I don't know. But think about how much worse that would have been if I had tried to tug it over his head. I would have had to get a halter, which I didn't need to do here. And he was eating, but I could even have done that just as efficiently if he wasn't eating, because he's used to it. I suggest if you're starting to train horses to wear sheets and blankets, and they don't just come on board with it. I can't believe we still have wasps right now. There are still wasps at my barn, even though it's freezing at night. Okay, I tangent. Sorry. I tangent. I can't even say that word. Back to the point. Oh my gosh. I lost my train of thought. The wasps are so annoying to me. They've been such a problem this year. I have a plan for that though. If you're schooling a horse to take a blanket, don't put them in the cross ties and tie them up and throw it over their back. Hold your rope. Help them become acquainted with it. Let them smell it. Let them sniff it. Put it on their shoulder. Gradually introduce them to the idea that they're going to have to wear that on their back. It'll prevent a whole lot of problems. Other tips about blankets that are worth discussing right now that I'll just get into right here while the horses are eating. Be careful how much blanket you put on a horse. Horses are comfortable at around 50 degrees is what I believe. I heard 45 from some lady, but she ended up being a whack job, so I don't trust anything she says. And I live and die by the 50 and lower is when you start thinking about sheeting. I will put these ceramic sheets on my horses pretty much whenever it's not going to be 65 or warmer, because I think they have such benefit to the horse's well-being. But they don't necessarily need them for warmth at that stage. I live in Northern California. Probably the coldest day on earth here was maybe 25, 20 degrees, ridiculously cold winter. It doesn't get that cold here. None of my sheets have more than a light layer. And for my personal horses, and almost for all the horses now, because I'll just treat them all the same way, or try to, I just buy a waterproof layer with no lining, and then I use these as the liner. That's just what I prefer to do. That's a preference. It's not a dictate. I really have a lot of faith in the ceramic fabric, though. We can talk about that in another video. So really, you don't want to overheat your horses. And if you're going to blanket them, you need to unblanket them. If you're going to put a blanket on a horse, especially here in Northern California, where so it was around 32, 33 at the coldest point in this morning, and it'll get pretty close to 70 today. So these horses, they need these blankets off first thing when I get here. They don't need to wear them all day. They're going to sweat under them if they do, and that can cause other problems. And keep your blankets clean. Another tip on the subject of blanketing would be sharing blankets, which I am doing here right now because I only have so many of these, and now I have Pouvaid horses to care for, 2 of which really need them, all of which would benefit from them. I won't share a blanket between mares that don't know each other because it'll freak them out. The smell, their sense of smell and what they associate with smell and how they relate to smell is so important that you want to make sure if you're putting a blanket on a horse um, that you're sharing with another one, you want to make sure they're comfortable around that horse. They're comfortable with the smell of that horse. I mean, ideal, it would even, that horse brings them comfort, is a buddy and that they trust and rely on for security. But if it's a strange blanket and a strange horse, maybe wash that blanket first. Um, I've seen problems happen. Like I gave a couple blankets to a friend of mine once who had a couple mares and turned out together, and they needed those blankets, and she put them on as soon as she got them, and I didn't bother to wash them for her. I just assumed she could handle that part. And she called me. She's like, Tiffany, oh my God, my mares are at each other's throat. I don't understand. And I was like, did you put the blankets on them? She's like, yeah. I was like, they smell like Gwenny. So right now your two mares don't know who each other is, and they think the other mare is a stranger because of the smell. So that's just another little experience we're sharing on the subject of blankets this morning. God bless Camelot. God bless all you.